at it again, and it seems old Jim Crow Joe has stepped in it once again. He has shown his true colors. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button if you are new. Make sure you share this video too. All of America needs to see the truth. Because the left always calls, Trump this horrible, terrible, no good, very bad person. He's racist. He hates these people and those people and that person and Well, let's dive in.
And two of the great artists of our time representing the groundbreaking legacy of hip-hop in America, LL Cool J. By the way, that man's got biceps bigger than my thighs. I think he's been. And MC Light, both of you, thank you. Because they both have the light off on the mic, you're all here to listen to the new edition. Mike Bivens, 40 years producing music that lifts our soul.
I think that one might have slipped out a little bit, but it's not the first time he said something crazy.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run. Come on.
LJ Cool J. We'll get back to that in a second. A lot of people are upset that Joe Biden referred to LL Cool J as a boy. As you can hear, he corrected himself on the spot. You know why Joe Biden corrected himself? Because he's 137 years old. He fully understands the word boy in the racial context around a white man referring to a black man as boy. See, boy is absolutely a white racist word when used in a certain context. And I know that because I'm from South Carolina, dropping the clues bombs from South Carolina. And because I was raised watching Good Times, okay? And a young scholar by the name of Michael Evans broke that down to us. Why boy is a white racist word, if I'm not mistaken. It was season 1, episode 9. You remember this, right?
Boy is a white racist word.
That's all you needed to hear, okay? Once you knew that, you understood that boy was a white racist word. When the word boy is referred when somebody uses the word boy to refer to an adult black man and the speaker is white, that takes on a whole different.
Now listen, I don't get super offended by, the word boy, but I think it's important that we call it out because we know what would have happened if Uncle Trump said it. If Uncle Trump had referred to a black person as boy, oh my goodness. The left would have ran that on a loop 24/7 for a month straight. Proof Trump is racist. Proof Trump has a racist history. Blah, 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 and on and on and on. But, how many times do you think the leftist media is going to air that, what Joe Biden just said? Let's go over under 1. Just one time. Showing it one time. What you guys got? You guys taking the over or you guys taking the under? I'm taking the under personally, but over under 1. Let me know. More than 1 or less than 1. Talk to me. But of course, that's not the first time Joe has ever said anything racist. Come on.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
The audio on that last clip was trash. It was only like in one ear. This is weird.
The world is different. There's too much unfinished business for us to just look backwards. We have to look to the future.
And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Even call centers, which rushed overseas in the hundreds of thousands. How many times you get the call? I'd like to talk to you about your credit card.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Joe Biden is under fire this evening on comments he made about working alongside segregationist senators in the past.
30 seconds or less. What kind of a chance would a northeastern liberal like Joe Biden stand in the South if you were running in Democratic primaries against Southerners like Mark Warner and John Edwards?
Better than anybody else. And you don't know my state. My state was a slave state. My state is a border state. My state is the 8th largest black population in the country. My state is anything from a northeast liberal state.
It's that old school white male.
Choosing Joe to be my vice president was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Not the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
I'm just saying, do I need to continue? Because there's more, right? There are more, but I'm happy to see that people are not buying the BS anymore. People have woken up to the truth and have realized Republicans aren't really the bad guys. Donald Trump isn't truly the bad guy. It's you Democrats.
First, you said you were not shocked by these numbers in this poll. Why was that?
I'm not shocked because there are so many unanswered promises and there's so many missed opportunities to actually do the right thing. So I don't have much faith, and I wasn't very shocked of the numbers in the poll, personally.
And then, Chris, you kind of said the same thing as far as there was no shock to this. You are actually, you're a father of 3. You own your own business. You voted for Biden in 2020, but you switched parties in 2022. What was the leading factor and really the driving force behind you switching parties after voting for him?
Yeah, correct. I'm just like not, honestly surprised about how Biden is. I feel like a lot of people, they're starting to see Biden for who he truly is. He's just a lying crook who has, empty promises. He's told people what they wanted to hear in order to, get their votes. And he doesn't and he didn't put, the American people first. And, in my opinion, I just feel like he's just not mentally stable. He shouldn't be running the country. A lot of Americans, they're living paycheck to paycheck underneath his administration, where the same Americans were thriving underneath Trump administration.
Yeah, America is almost unrecognizable when you're having trouble putting food on the table or choosing to do that or put gas in your car to get to work. Jason, the next question goes to you. You said these early poll numbers don't faze you that much, but age is a concern for you. Is that the age of President Biden? Is that the age of all candidates? What are you looking for?
Currently, that is the age of both of the current top candidates. Right now, as you see with Biden's latest blunder with the boy statement, that just shows age appropriation. That shows being able to be aware of the times that we're currently in. So my biggest concern for both candidates is not only the age, but how they're going to be able to handle the current personal issues that they're having, along with their family issues.
Yeah, really quickly before I move on, 62% of voters don't approve of how Biden is handling immigration at the U.S.-Mexico border, and then 30% approve of the economy, 64% disapprove. So his numbers, they're really in the tank right now. But I do want to get to this topic. I'm going to ask Darnisha and Chris to respond to this, since, Jason, you already kind of hit on that. But President Biden, he is getting a lot of heat after this awkward moment with rapper LL Cool J. Listen.
2 of the great artists of our time representing the groundbreaking legacy of hip-hop in America, LL Cool J. By the way, that man's got biceps bigger than my thighs.
Darnisha, really quickly, was this offensive to you?
Absolutely. I mean, it's 2023. It's very unacceptable to speak and use that language. I'm referring to my community. He should know better by now. So I was really upset about that. And
then, Chris, what did you make of those comments?
Yeah, I just feel like this is just like another example of, how Biden truly feels about the black community. This is the first time he referred to a black man as a boy. It's most likely not going to be the last one. And it kind of goes back to the whole, if you don't vote for me, you're black. He has this you're not black, excuse me. He has this slave master mentality. I feel like he doesn't really care what he says because he knows the majority of black people are still going to vote for him. I mean, even I was foolish enough to do so back then, but thank God I learned from that awful mistake.
Yeah, I believe what you told our producers was you learned your lesson. Darnisha, Chris, and Jason.
Yeah. How enthusiastic are you about the presidential election? And you can see Republican to Democrat, there is a gap right there. Where's the lag for Democrats? We found a couple places. Non-white voters, you could see significantly less enthusiastic than white voters. And then how about this age gap? The youngest group of voters who Democrats have been trying to get excited and motivated, nearly 50-point gap there.
So really an uphill battle.
And this goes back to the Trump 2.0 that I've spoken about in previous videos, and how Trump has strategically gone throughout these interviews and not given the Democrats anything to rally behind. And you see it there in the polls, right? They need to get more people out. They need to find something to rally the troops behind. They need to get more people out to vote. They need to get people out and get them excited, right? Look at 18 to 34. Not excited at all. And Trump has done a fantastic job of not giving them any bulletin board material. The Democrats, no bulletin board material, nothing to rally Democrats or the Democrat voters behind. He's done a fantastic job at that. And, it was terrible to see, somebody like Ron DeSantis try to go after Trump for that. And it was funny at the same time to watch Ron DeSantis's poll numbers right after he tried to go after Trump for that. Watch his poll numbers drop while Trump's went up, right? Which proved even more that Trump is doing the right thing in that situation, in that circumstance. Given the circumstances, he did the right thing. We all know what he's doing. He's playing chess, not checkers. You can't play checkers with these folks. You play checkers and you're going to lose. Ask Ron DeSantis. You play chess and you're going to win every single time. Look at Uncle Trump. I'm just saying.
Motivated, nearly 50-point gap there.
So really an uphill battle to try to make sure voters don't stay home if you're Democrats.
Yeah, that's it. And the problem for Democrats, too, the lack of enthusiasm about the election. There's clearly a lack of enthusiasm about the president himself, because we asked primary voters on the Democratic side, do you want options next year besides Biden? 59% said yes, they do. This is not a normal number for an incumbent. We asked the same question a year before Donald Trump sought re-election of Republicans. Only 37% wanted more choices then. That's a very high number.
Yeah, this is like the inverse of each other, these two numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it raises the question, too, what else concerns Democrats? And I think this gets to sort of the elephant in the room here. Biden's age and fitness. I mean, look at this contrast. We have talked so much about Donald Trump, the indictments, the legal woes. They are clearly a major or moderate concern to the majority of Americans. But Biden's age and fitness for office, almost 3 out of 4 in our poll. This is Democrats, Republicans, independents say it's a major or moderate concern for them. How about Trump? He's only a few years younger than Biden. A full 27-point gap right there. This is looming as a major problem for the president.
Now, me personally, I don't think age itself is the issue, because I have seen older folks be in fantastic shape mentally and physically. I mean, it's honestly truly amazing what I've seen some older folks, like the physical shape that they're in. This is incredible, abs and everything. I mean, my goodness, obviously that's not the majority. We understand that. But more importantly, I think it's the mental state, right? The cognitive ability. Can you do your job mentally? Can you handle it? Are you all there every single day? Not just some days, not after, you've had a few days of rest and yeah, you got it now. No. Are you there every single day? Can you do that? And then, of course, physically, right? Obviously, I think physical matters a little bit less than mental. But I would like you to physically be in good health as well. Obviously, we don't need you, I don't even want to put that out into the atmosphere, but we don't need a vice becoming the president, right? So physically, you need to be okay. Mentally, you need to be sharp. I'll put it that way. It has nothing to do with age. I don't care if you're 100 years old, right? Because Thomas Sowell is what, mid 90s. Thomas Sowell is in his 90s, I believe, And we checked out a interview with him with, I believe the guy's name is Mark Levin. Was that earlier this week or last week? And mentally, Thomas Sowell is all there. And he's well into his 90s. I'd take Thomas Sowell mentally, right? Now, I don't know how well he's doing physically. I didn't see him stand up. I don't think I've ever seen Thomas Sowell standing. I don't think I've ever seen it. Every video I've checked out of Thomas is he's always sitting down, during interview, which not a big deal, but it just occurred to me like, wow, I've actually never seen him actually standing up. Interesting. Big shout out to Thomas Sowell. Hey, if he wants to run in 2028 and mentally he's all there still, physically he's okay, hey, I'd vote for Thomas Sowell. I don't know about y'all, but he's got my vote in 2028 because I believe that he knows how to get things done and how things ultimately work. Yeah, he's not a politician, but I believe he understands enough of the ins and outs of things to make this country run properly, based upon the interviews and things that we've checked out all together right here on this channel. The guy's sharp. The guy's really, really sharp. I wish I would have found out about him sooner and he would have ran for president, earlier. But, it is what it is. Beggars can't be choosers, right? Beggars can't be choosers. But, yeah, back to Jim Crow Joe. Oh, man. How in the world on a pandering night do you call a black man in front of a crowd of people, I'm assuming, boy? That tells me you're used to calling black people boy. The way that just came out like that, I don't know. That's kind of what that says to me. And, historically, if you want to look back at it, that's what they used to say. Now, like I said, I'm not super offended by it because it takes a lot to truly offend me, but if you want to get technical, it did sound a little iffy. It sounded a little off. Sounded like his old days were flashing back in his mind, but that's just my humble opinion. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling in the comment section below. Jim Crow Joe showed his true colors today. We got him, ladies and gentlemen. He's been exposed. Peace and love. I'm out.